Hometown Happenings is brought to you by Foothill 7 TV and the Thompson's family of automotive dealerships.
Welcome. Today we're going to talk about California water and how it impacts El Dorado County. I'm Ken Payne. I'm the interim director at El Dorado County Water Agency. And
my name's Jesse Sach. I'm the Public Information Officer at El Dorado Irrigation District.
yeah, so here we're going to talk about a little bit about the drought, California's drought. We're in the 2015 drought, and it's probably one of the worst droughts we've had in the written history of California. You know, it's interesting that we've looked at some studies of some of the, they call it these analysis of some of the tree lengths, and this is probably one of the worst droughts we've had in the history of California. There have been some longer ones and some deeper droughts, but we're definitely one that's in the books for being dry. Yeah, so let's we can talk about our surface water conditions. That's where a lot of people are paying attention to when we're at the end of the summer and people are going through and looking at the reservoir levels.
That's right.
And I'm sure El Dorado Irrigation District's getting a lot of inquiries about the reservoirs, and maybe you can talk about that, and then we'll talk about some of the other reservoirs in El Dorado County.
Yeah, you're right, Ken. This is this has been a historic drought, and I think one of the important things is, as I talk about our reservoir levels and our supply conditions, our customers understand it. So our El Dorado Irrigation District's supply is primarily run out of Jenkinson Lake at Sly Park. That's our primary drinking water reservoir. We also take out of Folsom Lake, and we have a hydroelectric system. But we have a fairly good supply at this point. But that's because operationally we planned for it, and we asked our customers to really conserve, and they've responded well.
Yeah, having looked at El Dorado County as a whole, EID, El Dorado Irrigation District, seems to be well managed on its reservoir systems, on being proactive about keeping the reservoir levels high, particularly at the end of the summer and as we start reaching some power needs at the end of the summer all the way through October. Throughout the other areas of the county, we've looked at some of the reservoir systems in Georgetown, going up the Smut system along the American River, and you're seeing EID's influence really reflected on how we're managing the reservoirs upstream. El Dorado County also covers a large portion of the Tahoe Basin, which is a separate watershed, and their water conservation efforts have been really good too, where I think the reliability for the supply through the summer. But when you look at your surface water reservoirs in El Dorado County, a lot of people go to the lakes and they notice that it's fairly full, and here we have full reservoirs, but we're also talking about droughts, and so some people get confused over that.
Absolutely. We get that, especially with Jenkinson. It's a really popular recreation area as well, and I think currently it's a right around 75% of a historical average. Yeah. We made sure to put in perhaps around 7,000 acre-feet from a hydroelectric system to bolster supplies.
Yeah.
So we maintain a good carryover supply.
Well, then you go to, you can always send it down to Folsom Reservoir or Folsom Lake, and that lake is about 25% of where it should be, and that's probably a good indicator for how the system as a whole is. And that's where, on the lower part of the American River, we seem to get a lot of comments about Folsom Reservoir being dry. But fortunately for El Dorado County, because we're kind of the area of origin of a lot of the water systems that go down into the delta, we're in a good situation to at least be able to control our reservoir system.
That's right. That's right.
So, one of the other areas that we end up getting a lot of inquiries about is the groundwater in California. Governor Brown has led some efforts to begin regulating groundwater, and for a large part, it's in California you could drill a well and take water, and public systems we have to get a permit to do that, and a lot of people are concerned because particularly in El Dorado County there's a lot of private wells. But I think the regulations are mostly focusing in on the public wells.
Absolutely.
And the people that have their private wells are fairly safe for now?
Yeah, and I would actually emphasize that. You know, I've heard a lot of folks talk about it was the EID going to meter my well.
Yeah.
You know, it's not on the table right now.
That's not in our business model right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's throughout the county. And then the agricultural wells are a little bit differently, so treated differently too. So there's not as stringent requirements for private and agricultural wells as there for public wells. And
right.
I'm not sure if we have any public wells in the El Dorado County that I'm aware of.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, so, but there are, we've had instances where there have been wells that have dried up in certain pockets within the county.
Right.
And I think your district has announced and designated some points where people can go and get water. Where are those located?
Yeah, we have some bulk water stations. I think that forms part of the strategy to make sure people get the water that they need. And they are located at various points throughout the district. We have a map of those points on our website.
Oh, so that can be found on your website?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's great. That's great. So the other efforts that are going on, particularly on the state level, I think with this drought, the governor's using this as an opportunity to really get into some of the regulatory environments of water management. One of them is looking at some of the agencies, some of the smaller agencies or mismanaged agencies, about requiring mergers with some of the larger, well-established agencies that are next to these. And but I think that's a long ways off. Even though the regulations are there, there's a process that has to go through.
Absolutely, that. I feel the same.
Yeah, one of our here in El Dorado County, you're looking at Tahoe, that basin, the South Tahoe and Tahoe City. Their districts there's a lot of pockets of small private districts, and
right.
And some of them are in trouble financially, or they will be because they have to replace infrastructure.
Absolutely.
And you go down to Georgetown, where some of the agencies are concerned about their infrastructure to deliver water during drought years.
Right.
And so we've gotten a lot of inquiries about that, but I think you're right. They have to go through a whole process of showing the financial impacts to the well-run agency and the agency that needs to have a merger. But so it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
How that develops if we continue.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about conservation measures.
Yeah, I'd be pleased to. For EID, it's been extraordinary. EID customers have really responded.
Well, there's a state requirement.
There is a state requirement. You know, there's a range. There's 9 tiers that water purveyors are slotted into, and EID's in tier 7. So our requirement is a 28% reduction. You know, so it goes all the way up to, I believe, 36.
So that's 28 in addition to what you've already experienced, or 28%?
This is 28% compared to 2013, which is the base year that they use.
Okay.
So basically, we have to, starting in June of this year, we start reporting our conservation levels to the state all the way through February.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty significant, though.
Yeah, no, it's a significant amount. But like I was saying, our customers have really gotten it. We've had a proactive campaign of getting the message out. We try to make sure our customers understand what they can do.
Yeah.
Recently, we changed. We added gallons and gallons per day to their bills.
Yeah.
Because folks, you know, you put out material and it says, oh, you flush the toilet so many times, and the water that you use in your outside irrigation can save you X gallons.
Yeah.
But we bill in cubic feet, so that we felt like that was a real help to make it real.
Yeah.
For folks.
Well, people can understand that.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many jugs of milk?
So really, yeah, exactly.
Equivalent, yeah.
So the big thing is in June our customers, we saw a 32% reduction. So we exceeded the state mandate. Mm-hmm. And for July, our customers did even better. We reached 34%.
So did El Dorado Irrigation District find it difficult, because I know that as a district you guys have been very well managed of implementing recycled water,
Sure.
ways to reduce surface water from the American River,
Right.
which is your primary source of supply.
Absolutely.
So was it difficult when, up to 2013, you've been well managed on implementing programs to cut down diversions?
Right.
And then all of a sudden you have a 2013, you have to do another 28 on top of that. So
right. Well, it started out. We have a drought action plan that was working. When the governor called the drought and later mandated a 25% state requirement, we were in the process of our drought action plan, and it was frankly working quite well. But in the context of the state, we needed to reach a little bit higher.
Yeah.
It turned out this hasn't been too big of a burden.
Yeah.
Through the conservation, through some judicious transfer of water through our system, it's really helped out a lot. Our recycled water customers, our recycled water system is a huge help as well.
Yeah.
Recycled water is by nature is
Well, you're one of the 3 agencies in the region that have recycled. Roseville, Sacramento County has a small one, and then you guys have that.
we have dual plumb homes.
Yeah. Very progressive at the time.
Yeah.
It's funny when we talk about conservation and reusing some of the water. We were having this discussion at the board meeting where we're introducing these practices like they're new, but some of these old practices, the water wells and reusing your water, kind of the old school ways that I was traveling in the Pacific Rim, some of the islands on the Pacific Rim, and looking at what they do in a tropical environment, very wet.
Sure.
They're doing the same practices as we're doing for conservation. They do it because they don't have infrastructure to move water around.
Yeah.
We're doing it because we live in a drier climate.
That's
but,
right.
It's still those practices that are seen throughout. Very, very, very interesting. What about mandatory water restrictions? Where's the EID with that right now?
That's really been an important part of how we got to where we're at in terms of conservation. EID's service area is currently under mandatory watering restrictions. It goes through 3 stages throughout the year, roughly by season.
Yeah.
We're currently in the summer season, so folks can water 3 times per week, and that depends. It's based on the ending number of your address. If you're odd, you do specific days, and even the others. This has really helped, and folks are really responding to that.
Well, you guys led the charge for that. So what? As I'm noticing, the agencies in the area, communities adjacent to you, they're pretty much adopting the EID practices for the mandatory conservation programs. Like City of Placerville,
yes,
adopts your protocols, which consistency-wise in the county, that makes it a lot easier for us to make references to go to the Dorado County EID. The EID website, and you can find out how you conserve water.
Absolutely. I would add, though, that the City of Placerville has a slightly different schedule.
Yeah.
I'm actually a City of Placerville resident, so I can only water twice a week. And but the EID service area is 3 times a week up until September 30th. All of these can be found on our website at eid.org/drought.
Great. So during these today's time zone, there's some expectations of being able to turn on the faucet, and or we call it the age of convenience, where people have this expectation that our water is a given right as opposed to a privilege that we have.
Sure.
I was looking at areas down in Georgetown and looking at some of the older communities up in Lake Tahoe, and we were talking about the infrastructure where people used to go down the river, and then it changed to, you were really progressive when you had a pump in your yard, your own pump, and then you converted that pump into your house, and now that's the everyday expectation that we have. And
I think,
you see that, so it's kind of interesting how we have that, and then we go back to the California water rights arena of the regulatory environment of how we're going to deliver water and how we're going to manage the water. there's some expectations that the state wants to get in on even how we finance our infrastructure. So those are the kind of things I know EID is monitoring for the community to protect your ratepayers.
Well, you know, you're right. The infrastructure is kind of a hidden thing.
Yeah.
We have an infrastructure that has a historical value of 900 million.
Yeah.
You know, this is an extraordinary, complex system, and we have so many. We have geographical challenges and so forth. So these, you know, it's the drought, you know, challenges a lot of these things that we continually plan for on a yearly basis. So, and one of those things is the regular capital maintenance of our system.
It was very important. So,
yeah,
and it provides the reliability that people are used to.
Absolutely,
right? So,
absolutely.
Well, I think that's a good overview of where California is and where El Dorado County. We're very fortunate to be managed by some well-run water agencies within our county. El Dorado Irrigation is a good example of the leadership that we have. So, anything else you want to add, Jesse? So.
No, I'd like to express my appreciation for our customers and hope they continue to conserve and do a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.